has been found guilty of a mother in front of her daughter at Notting Hill Carnival last summer. Shaquille Taboo, who's 20, was convicted at the Old Bailey of murdering Cher Maximen. He stabbed her in front of her 3-year-old daughter during the carnival's family day on August 25th. Miss Maximen had been trying to intervene in a fight which had broken out at the West London Festival. Tibu launched at her with a zombie knife, her groin, and giving her a 12-centimeter deep wound, causing massive. Miss Maximen died 6 days later in hospital. Miss Maximen's grieving family paid emotional tribute after she was saying Cher was beautiful inside and out. She has a lot of family and has many friends. She was a good mother and a protector of family and close friends. Miss Maximen was one of 2 people in last year's carnival alongside Musi Inetu, who was by Omar Wilson. All right, we're not going to go into the rest of that still, people. We're not going to go into the rest of that. So, Noble, again, we're here again speaking about a young man, 20, who's taken the life of a young woman. And this time, you notice, every time one of these things happen, people, do you notice, the situation, like, so let's say you hear about a story 2 years ago, a man a woman, then maybe 6 months, 8 months later, it's something else on top of that. You see what I'm saying, Noble? Like some other, I don't even want to put nothing out there. That's why I'm careful with my words, because I don't even want to put nothing out there like that. But now, man are doing this is in front of her child, a 3-year-old. Like, again, anger, and I don't get it. I just don't think people think. Like, some of the things that are going on, yeah, like some of the stories, yeah, that are coming out of the UK right now. And I'm like, are we regressing as humans, are we? Because no, but some of these situations, people have actually had time to calm down.
Come on.
And still make the wrong decision at a carnival. Remember this, you know, a man's traveled to this carnival, you know, with this zombie knife, Noble. It was going there. And this is where I say that, you know, when you hear a lot of people, we'll get back to this down the line in this stream, but you know, when you hear a lot of people, Noble, who'll say, I'm outside, I'm active, I'm doing this or I'm doing that. This is why I'm not involved in these antics.
Come on.
Because I don't want to be in a place, Noble, yeah, where a man's carrying something like that. I just don't want to be in that place because you've gone there with intent. So that means that if somebody brushes past him the wrong way, he may them. You know what I mean? If you, let's say you spill a drink, you trip, you spill a drink, it happens to hit this young man, he may end up killing you. And what I'm saying to you is, if you're in these environments, you may have to go into there mean mugging and doing all that foolishness. That's why I don't do it. So let's go back to, I went to this dance in Brum years ago, called Grime Nation, I believe it was, Noble, in Digbeth.
Okay, yeah.
Anyway, I'm in this dance. It could have been Steven with me, or it could have been the next man. But I'm in this dance now, yeah? And the dance is going in, and I think JME, you know, JME, that MC, he was actually spitting on the mic at the time. Now, a youth came into the dance, Noble, and just pulled a gun out right in front of me in my bedroom, just right there, right in the dance, and pointed it at somebody, right in the dance. And you see, from then, I said to myself, I don't want to be in these places, you know, at all, you know, because you mean to tell me that you've got this enemy, yeah? And out of all the places you can find him, you decide to go to a crowded place where there are innocent people there, where there are people there who are not involved in nothing. It's sad, people, but every decision now we make has to be a very help me out here, Noble. Every decision we now make has to be carefully looked at before we make the decision.
very careful consideration
Yeah,
needs to be made every time. These dynamic risk assessments, which I've mentioned numerous times, especially, and it's so sad that we're having to say this, Mark, but this is something that I've had to adapt myself. Unfortunately, sometimes you just can't be around your own people in large crowds.
facts. No, you cannot. You cannot.
It,
And there's a reason for this. There's a reason for this why you can't be around your people like that. Because there's an aggression that a lot of these youth are carrying. There's an aggression that a lot of these older people are carrying. I don't want to be nowhere near that aggression, Noble, because this life we live in, this is our life, and in life things can happen. You might brush past a man accidentally, knock his drink, step on his toe, whatever the case may be. And Aisha, absolute facts what you're talking there. R.I.P. to the dead, but she shouldn't have gotten involved in the first place. Basically, people need to look after themselves first. Now, I hear that, Aisha. I hear that. And I actually agree with that because that's where I am with this thing. Like,
as a woman, look, you have to pick your battles, and I understand the sentiment, and I know exactly where you were going. Pardon, South, my interruption. But you have to pick your battles as a woman. You shouldn't necessarily, especially in these times, going back 15, 20 years, that would standard. Of course, a woman, an elder, whoever, someone's going to, whoever's closest would try and break the thing up. But as I say, back then, people were fighting. There was no weaponry involved. Man might have a bottle, a brick or something like that at the most. But we're not talking about this kind of activity. Now, where was the men? And Rising Paradise, the decision is, man. Internally, Rising Paradise. I am upset, man. Really upset about this shit. Crazy sibling.
No, it is. It is, man. It is Noble. But again, you can't really, like now, we are living through that time, people. This time, if this was a book, this chapter right now is called Prevention is Better Than Cure, people. Like, we got to keep this thing on. And I'm not saying you're going to just lock up in the house 24/7. You can't do that. But I don't want to be at certain functions where a man's going there with that intent. So my brethren's 40th was not too long ago. And I went, and guess what? It was a great evening with decent people who weren't there on no kind of vibe like that. And that's what I'm trying to say. This mother went out there to a carnival with her daughter. My daughter was actually at Notting Hill Carnival the year before last, I believe it was. One of the times, anyway, she went. So what I'm trying to get at is, a man ain't even saying now, yo, I'm angry, but there's children there. You see what I'm saying? Are we at that place now? Are we at that place now where whatever the argument was, it couldn't have been that serious because they hadn't even said what it's over. They hadn't even mentioned it. And as a journalist, yeah, if it was important, it would be included in this. It's not included. It's not included, which means, yeah, that this could have been over something. Matter of fact, there's nothing you could tell me it was over that warranted this reaction.
Come on.
But what I'm getting at is that think about the kind of anger that's within an individual to not only travel with something like that, knowing that those people may pull you or whatever. It ain't, especially as a young brother, it ain't hard to happen. So you're risking everything. And if you've got beef like that, if you've really got beef like that with another man, you shouldn't be at no carnival anyway. I'm going to keep it real. If there's beef to where you've got to carry that, you shouldn't be at no carnival anyway. Real talk. But again, people will justify this and they will say all this rubbish about youth clubs and they will say all this stuff about, whatever nonsense excuses they come up with to justify the anger that's within this young man. And stop talking to the older guys like we weren't once young. What is this anger about? Where's this anger coming from? Because remember, you're not doing these moves, yeah? I gotta be careful how I word this. You're not bringing this to any sort of
come on
place where it would be more needed, that anger. You're bringing it to your community. You're bringing it right back. The carnival is a black British thing. Let's keep it real. I get all the other stuff, but I'm saying it happens here and it's us that attend.
Come on.
So you're going to bring that there. That's crazy to me, man. But this is what's normalized now. This is what's normalized. I'm going to keep it real. Like, a lot of this stuff's normalized because I was sitting down, and I was watching a podcast. We'll get into this again further down the stream. And no, but I'm watching this podcast and all men's are talking about is prison stories and, when I was in prison and, I done a couple years here and when I was in prison and these man and this and that. And I was watching it and I'm like, these men need to grow up. Because you're speaking about something as though it was like a enlightening or a great experience. Mm-hmm. That would be like me bringing up a time where I went through a dark patch. I'll be like, yeah, man, back in the day when I don't even want to put nothing out there, but something bad happened. Why would I want to dwell on that? And then what that does, Noble, is the youth that are watching it, it's almost like it's a stripe to go prison. It's almost like, let's keep this thing. It's almost like it's like part of the bad man CV. Like, yeah, man, where was you at? Yeah, I was over there. Like, I'm more happy saying, like, I've never spent a day in there. Like, I feel it's a flex to say, my thing's clean. It's a blank piece of paper. That's a flex to me. And then on top of that, come true.
Just to add very quickly, and you are on the with the few within Brum and across the wider UK who didn't fall for the trap and the wider trap, who has a clean jacket. There's not many people on, these days and of old who can say that they've got a clean jacket growing up in the times that we grew up in. So salute for that, simply, man. You didn't fall for the okie doke. You didn't say, man, a man's looking at a like that, man. I need that Avex jacket, man. Give me that shit, homeboy.
That's the flex. The real flex is to be able to look and say, my thing's a blank piece of paper. That's the real flex. The narrative has to change. And on top of that, I'm like, who raised these guys, man? Like, who actually raised these people? Because I'm saying to myself, I couldn't even go to prison for 1 month, Noble. Like, I'm talking about I couldn't be away from my people then for 1 month. Things would fall and cracks would start to show because that's the type of value I bring to the structure. You see what I'm saying to you? And that makes me move almost, when you move with a purpose, Let me try, people bear with me. So when you belong to something and you break away from that thing, whatever it is to do, to work, to track, to whatever it is to do, there's a sense of knowing that you're a part of that puzzle that gives you almost an extra boost in your step and a way to move better. You know what I'm trying to say, Noble?
Yes.
Like, it's like,
that drive and that purpose and that direction.
You get it? Like, if I make a stupid decision, I know it don't just affect me. Do you see where I'm coming from? Like, if I do something daft, like if there's a madness that goes on and a decision needs to be made, like, I need to think about who else's life it affects. Like, I don't get it why other brothers ain't thinking like that. I'm not saying there ain't certain man, but I'm like, when this kind of stuff is being pushed out there, it normalizes it to the next generation. And that's what we're seeing. Carnival, a man goes to Carnival with a zombie knife, Noble. Think about it. This is something that we are celebrating Caribbean culture. We're celebrating Caribbean culture. This is a celebration of Caribbean culture. Africans are obviously invited. It's a family thing. They have a family day, like they said here. Artists come out. There's food, all of this. There's a sea of colors.
Yes.
And a man carries that there. Think about the insanity in that. Think about the lack of care for the community, the lack of care. Because even him killing that girl, the little 3-year-old baby, is traumatized for life. For life. And imagine every time, people don't understand. Imagine every time that baby here, not baby, but that child, I lost mom at the carnival. Just think about the mental in that. I lost mom at the carnival. A man stole my mom from me at the carnival. Yo, it's mad, man. And the maddest thing, this is what, it's mad because we can be on here for 10 hours talking, Noble, but it's normalized, man. It's normalized. It's not, it's this is normalized now. This is the norm now. Badmanism, hating each other, hurting each other, no type of, not even caring that it's even a woman, not even caring that children are about. It makes me sick that there's man like this in the community, and it makes me scared, Noble. Not for me.
For the younger ones?
For the younger ones and the people that are still out there, man. Because I ain't going, I just wouldn't be there amongst the crowd like that. That's just not me, because every time I step out, like even in Brum, there's always some nonsense that happens, man.
Come on.
I'm not on it, man. I'm not on it. You see what I mean? I want to be around other men.
Come on, you hit the nail on the head.
Who have things to lose. That's it. If you don't have nothing to lose, I have no business being around you or in your presence or anything. And I don't mean nothing material. Nothing material.
No.
If you can throw it all away in a heartbeat, or you're traveling with something like that, these you scare me, man.
Look, they've bred this mentality over a period of time, and they've really pushed the button. It's almost like, as I describe it, the virus. It's a self-replicating nanovirus, which is across now 3 generations. The parent, because I'm just going to say it like it is, he didn't come from a 2-parent household. He could be. Chances are slim. But the parent or parents, let's break the words down, pair, a 2, and then rent, of this being, this kid, baby goat, so I ain't going to use the word child, youngster, he was dragged up. He had all of the influences. He didn't, look, his brain's still functioning. We all remember when we was youths. We all remember when we was on a hype thing, all the rest of the thing. But there were levels in it. We still had a kind of an understanding of who we are, what we were, what we want to be, kind of thing. His wants and his desires line up with death and destruction, because that's what's celebrated and promoted. Mainstream, sibling.
Facts.
This isn't underground niche kind of scene where the man's run that kind of not everybody knows it. This is profitable for everybody, but original people, because we're the uncles, the fathers, you know what I mean, the daughters, the aunties, the victims of these stupid ass crimes. Walking with where's the deterrent? Remember my pledge for Prime Minister? We could have this thing sorted, sibling. Easy, quick time. You get catch with any of these things, you're going to be serving the community. We're going to be locking your ass up, and you're going to be coming out. These mash up roads that we got, these prisons are going to be fixing them. This binge strike that we got here in Brum. Well, how comes they're not emptying the damn prisons, boss, and getting them effers out? Doing something for the community. Come on.
Yeah. No, it's not. No, real talk, because
come on.
I'm gonna keep it real, man. Like, big up. So, let me word this the right way. It's crazy. It's crazy to me. It's absolutely crazy to me, because there's no fear. You see where I'm coming from, Noble? There's zero fear in, what happens if I get caught? Or
exactly.
That's the issue, if you ask me. The issue is there's no fear in terms of these men ain't scared of the UK system. So there maybe needs to be something that I'm all for.
Unknown caller.
Sorry, I'm all for the foreign prison. I'm all for manual labor.
Yeah, man, hard labor.
Because what man need to understand is this is supposed to be rehabilitation.
And punishment.
So I'm saying to you, that place in Thailand, that prison called, I think it's called the Holiday Inn or something crazy like that. That place in Thailand, it's a prison.
I know you're about.
You can Google it, read up on it, take a look at exactly what that particular place is about. And then what you'll understand then is, do you ever think a Thai guy goes there, spends a few years,
Come on.
and then goes anywhere saying, yeah, man, I was down there, and yeah, no, once he leaves, it's a hell.
Come on.
It's damn near a hell. That's what, you see what I mean? It's an absolute hell. And what I'm saying to you is, yeah, these man, it's a holiday camp to man.
Come on.
Let's keep it real. It's a holiday camp, and that's why man ain't scared. Like, we can only speak about our community. That's why man ain't scared to carry something like that into an event like that. Never felt no way. And even though it's a girl, there's literally no filter now. Like back in the day, it would be like I remember I did a story on it, but I remember one time I was younger. I was around this weird guy who used to do mad things and that as a youth. Wrong, completely wrong for me to even have been around that youth. And people, one other thing I can tell you, especially if you're younger, that any feelings you've got about a man, like a brethren when you're young, eventually those things will come to a head. Facts, because that same guy I'm going to tell you this about, down the line, did man something. But the warnings were there from back in the day. Yeah. But anyway, he was robbing a phone. God has my witness, people. If I'm lying, may God strike me. He was robbing a phone. And when he was robbing his phone, the boy was crying and he's saying, please, please, please don't take my phone. And he said,
What nation was the boy?
Indigenous.
Okay.
Young guy, man. And then he goes, please, man, don't take my phone, please. I need the SIM because my mom's in hospital. And she calls me. I swear this. You can go to the story, people. Goes, yo, my mom's in hospital. I need the SIM or something like that. I need the SIM or leave me with some cash or something because my mom's in the hospital. And you could tell he wasn't lying because he weren't saying, give me back my phone on it. And he was just saying, I need the SIM or whatever it is because I need to be able to contact my mom. The brother took it same way. And I remember at the time, yo, what you doing, fam? What you doing? But he was this macho, in and out of prison his whole life, the brother.
Yeah.
Now, that day showed me I could never be a bad man. And I'm proud to say it. If that was a bad man, I could never be that. Before that, I worked in McDonald's because that sat with me for like months later. That I was even around that. And just think about something on that level. So start thinking about when man are busting man's skin and all that. Even certain times if a man's wrong, the man, I'll rather walk away, you know. Real talk.
God, come on, look, that's the difference. That's the difference between a young mind and a more mature mind. Someone thinking of the wider and greater complications and implication of what may take place if you do indeed physically retaliate. You'll feel good busting a man's head for doing something like that, putting blood on your birthday suit. But then what happens when he calls up Polizia? And next thing you know, they take you and they'll do a digital fingerprint of your fingers and do a video of you and then hold you in a nasty, dotty cell with a little thin foam or something that you gotta lie down on. Then interview and all this business, put you out on bail and all that. And then they got your DNA. Oh, sorry, I forgot. They take your DNA now, don't they? They do the mouth swab thing. Allow all that business, boss.
What needs to be addressed amongst these youth? I think the ones who are already thinking with that mindset, it's going to be hard to bring them back, you know. But I think the generation beneath them, early intervention with this anger and aggression situation, because
what's this? Come on, what have we said? What have we said time and time and time and time again about this with youngsters and the UK, especially the UK? What can be done? What can be really done to channel and harness this potential and this anger that these youths them got?
I think if it was me, I think some sort of program within schools or for the worst of the pupils, so the ones who look like they may go that way, early intervention, meaning that show them the left path or the right path, show them how it goes. Now, people might say they know that already, but do they really? Because I remember when I was 14 or something like that, and a phone got robbed. I didn't rob the phone, but a phone got robbed when I was there. And the person said Mark was there. and the police arrested me, locked me in a cell. No, but locked me in a cell. I was in there for like 12 hours, something mad like that.
For that long?
Yeah, as a youth, man. As a youth. There was spit all over the wall and that. It was nasty, man.
Which police station is
Aston.
it? That's the big
Aston.
one.
Yeah, Aston. That's the first time man got they grabbed man from ERD all the way to Aston, locked me up in the police station and that. And I remember just seeing the spit all over the place and saying, "Yo, this is nasty. I can't be in this."
Let me say one thing, Mark. 'Cause obviously, there's a little bit of time that's elapsed in between our come up and stuff. So things have clearly changed. I was in that place for 23 hours. Them days, they couldn't have a cell with spittle and whatever all over it. They'd have to get the cleaner to come in and clean it. I don't know what the rest they're doing now, sibling.
Boy, it was horrible. And you know that hard bench thing. And I remember just saying, for me, that was enough, you know. This is what I say. When you're going through the eye of the storm, people, you will always question, why me? Why is this happening to me?
Yeah.
But when you get through the eye of that storm and you look back and you're like, damn, I needed to go through that still. Because people, that lock up at 14 probably saved, man. Serious. Because I just knew I can't come in this. I can't deal with this system. I knew that before then, but definitely then. I can't deal with... When I mean can't deal with this system, like... So we talk about adolescence, people. So you remember at the start of it... Have you watched it yet, Noble?
Nah, sleeping in
mad crazy. At the start, he's arrested on suspicion of murder. Now, they bring him to the police station, yeah? And they're very, very like... What about this now, son? Put your arm up here now, son.
Lights.
Take your time now, son. All that kind of like, what I'm getting at is they dealt with him like a youth.
Yeah.
When I went in there at 14, I was dealt with like a grown ass man.
Come on.
Grown ass man. There was none of that son talk, none of that. It was just like, basically like, yeah, come in. Like we expect you, mans like you to be here. And I remember just that feeling of saying, nah, I'm not giving you like this. I'm not coming back here willingly. I understand like during times of oppression and that, I get that because if it was that, I would be the first to sign up.
Come on.
But not when we're here and we've got time. All we've got is time, people. We're here, we've got time to make small change. You know what I mean? Like in our short life, most men ain't even going to get 70 years. That's just a reality right now. To the way how the mans are living, the work-life pattern and all that, a lot of people won't see past 70. In that little time on earth, yeah, we need to make sure that we do what we can do to best set those who come after us, who didn't ask to be born, set them in motion. Whatever that looks like to you, that's our purpose. Now, if you're wasting time and you're getting locked up every minute and you're angry, like there's a lot of man, like when it comes to Brum, yeah, there's a lot of men who are in prison simply because of anger.
Yeah, man.
And I can tell man straight, I can talk these things on the big internet. Throughout my years working in the city centre, I've seen them all. Come, yo, my man's mad, my man's crazy, my man's this. He'll be dead or in jail soon.
Come on.
That's the only thing I say. Okay, that's how he's moved. Okay, a couple of years he'll be out of here. Whether the people get him or whether the people get him. Because that type of energy doesn't last long in this world. This is just common things, people. This is just going around doing bad things. Doesn't last long. And if you're getting dressed, yeah, think about it like this. If you get dressed in the morning to go to work or whatever, and you carry an underarm spray in your bag to bring to work, you're bringing that underarm spray with a view that I'm going to use it at some point in the day.
Come on.
So if you're getting dressed and putting a zombie knife in your trousers, you're doing that with a view that I may have to use this at some point today. I don't want to be around people like that. And I feel like a lot of people should just do their homework or whatever it is on where they're going, the people they are around, This is another important thing. People show their intentions long before they get you with anything, you know. People show you their intentions, people. Think about any time you've ever been wronged or something's gone bad. I bet you could name a couple of times before it happened that you could have prevented it from happening. You gotta do better, man. These stories are too frequent now, Noble.
Way too frequent.
Too frequent. It's got to the point now where man's are desensitized to these kind of stories, actually. I'm gonna keep it real. I know it's terrible. I know it's horrific what's taking place, but we hear about the Rook Akabani brother what killed the 6 little girls. This guy, the guy that killed the other school girl the other day. It's been an ongoing thing.
It's an onslaught of terror, man. We're being terrorized. We're being terrorized spiritually, emotionally, and physically. And so where did this little youth get the ability to obtain such as a weaponry called a zombie knife? I mean, get into the root of it. How do we even have such weaponry? Coming up, the most you would have was a ornamental samurai sword. That's what you would have. And them things were flimsy as hell. Outside of that, you would then have the classical Rambo knife. You remember them big dotty things, and you had the compass on the end. You just unscrew the bottoms, got matches and all that kind of thing. Outside of and then you had the little flick knife thing. Those were
that was the Webley, the flick knife. It used to be called a Webley in Erdington. and let's not even forget, because I remember when it started, Noble, in them days, in my era, stabbing. I can only speak about Erdington. I can only speak about down there. Mans were carrying knives because they thought that if I stab a man, he's not going to dead, but it's still a way of me showing brute force.
Yes.
That's the reason them things came in, because I remember back in the day when them Grime brothers in Brum was beefing and all of that, and they were making tunes like, yeah, I caught my man and stabbed him and rare. And then you'd see the brother like normal next week, like, oh, I thought you got stabbed, but he's safe. Like, oh, it's just a little scar, you get me? So that's where it started, because I can only speak again about Brum, Erdington, but I'm saying that's when I seen like mans was like, I caught my man the other day. Yeah, it used to be called Prepst. I caught my man the other day. Yeah, I caught my man the other day. I prepped him, and then you'd see that same brother like in town a couple of weeks later, like, oh, I thought man wet, yeah. Be like, oh yeah, the man them got me still, but it's just a little scar still. And then down the line, you started hearing about man got caught, but he bled out, this, that, and then that's when it started to become more and more of a thing, innit? And then the younger generation just went absolutely took it up a notch. You see what I mean? And then now you got these kind of things going on.
As each generation does.
Yeah.
When I was coming up, the generation older than me was saying, "You mans need to calm down, man. You want some wild thing." Generation below me, I'm saying the same thing to them, and it continues and continues. But I think at this point, we've got less of the people, the generation older, saying, "Yo, you calm yourself down, man. You're hotting up the whole spot. You're taking all these people them life. Nah, boss, that ain't cool, Or even before we get to that, yo, brother, little psycho, calm it down still. Cause you ain't gonna be long on these streets still. You've probably got a summer and a half, man, at the most, the way you're going.
Facts.
It doesn't seem like no one's even trying to check. It doesn't even, like, the parents, are the parents that petrified?
As we're seeing here, literally.
They don't know what their children are doing, mobbing around this place. I mean, they're wearing a uniform. We know them that are doing the things because they've got the uniform on, right? They're spotted a mile off.
Facts.
Huh? So you're telling me their parents don't know?
They must know.
They're not driving around in a little Nissan, right? And they don't see their youth walking around the streets with their hands down their trousers. Huh? And they don't know what time it is. They ain't even saying willingly, you know what? Son, you don't calm yourself down, I'm calling the police on ya. Because those were the conversations that parents were having with their children when I was on the come up, when man was going off the rails and all them thing there. Yo, I call the police myself,
I remember a brother in Handsworth. He used to come church and that, because I went church in Handsworth. The van used to come for, man. And there was a brother Noble who was he was going off the rails still. He's probably about 15 at the time. They sent him to America. with his people in America. I've never seen him since. They said him like, yeah, because he was with his nan here. They're from Yard, but the nan was here with him. His mom was in the States, and he was going off the rails to where the nan and them said, nah, send him. Apparently he's doing really well now.
Good.
But there's no intervention like that again. I know we always talk about sending man places and that, but not even just that, just any kind of intervention. Because for me, it's like, if I felt that I had to walk with that as a youth, I don't think it would have been long before somebody said, yo, and I'm talking about not even just family, I'm talking about older boys in the area, because it wasn't all bad. There was genuine guys who was like, you know, who wanted the best for the youth.
Of course.
And they would have probably spotted certain, you know, like when you're growing up in certain areas, you know the mans who, yo, them mans over there thief cars, or them mans over there, they play football all day, or these man go to the fighting gym, or them man just waste people that just smoke weed all day and just, you know, look to do petty things. You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
It's all grouped off like that, but you know the people that are not on certain things. So if you see a change in behavior, like I know I can spot a youth and see a change in behavior and say, yo, you good. And remember, it's got to be that youth who you can get through to.
Yes.
Now, what's the root cause of this generation, Saint? What's the root cause? I think it's like a soup. There's a lot of ingredients, but I'm going to deal with the main ingredients right now. I think it's popular to be like that. Like when people say like, I was in a gang, or you had no choice. That's simply not true. That's simply not true. This ain't LA. This ain't Chicago. Now, I'm not saying there isn't exceptions, but again, and any man can challenge me, in Birmingham, it was popular to be that. It was popular. Those were the hood stars, or whatever you'd call it. That's who that was. I can't speak about no other community, but a lot of men signed up because it was a way to get recognition in the city. Yo, my man over there. Da, 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 da. It's backwards thinking, but that's what it is. And people, when I tell you, people don't understand. I know it's different now, but in our era of Brum, everyone knew everyone. There wasn't nobody who didn't know nobody. There ain't no one who just come here and no one knows him. If you're from here, especially if your parents are from here,
exactly.
Even if man don't directly know you, they know your brother, your mom, or so. This ain't London, people. The community is very small here. So to even get up and say, yo, moving forward, I'm going to war with the other half of the community is insanity.
Absolute.
That's insanity, people. Because remember, that would be like, let's really go in. That would be like the Polish community leaving Poland, coming to the UK, a very small community, splitting up within the city of Brum, and those people's children fight each other. How does that sound, people? Think about that. You've came from the same struggle, traveled here to another place, picked two different parts of the city to live in, had children who's had children, and they hate each other. To me, that's always been insanity. I don't care what no man says. That's always been insanity. I never got involved with it back then, and I wouldn't get involved with it now. But what's happening now is there are pockets of youth that are products of that mentality back then. But like they say, man, what one generation ignores, another embraces. And those problems were ignored back then. Those problems were ignored. No one didn't question how a black man, young man, could go to a set of black schoolboys,
come on,
and rob them. That is insanity. But those things were normalized. So what's wrong with these youth is those things have been normalized to where that is cool. That's cool. That's cool. We don't even need to get into the music and all of that. But that's cool. And look, for example, I watched Vibes Cartel on some clip what a man sent me, and Ebro saying to him, yo, I noticed you don't bleach your skin anymore. And he's like, yeah, man, I don't do it anymore. Back then, I did it just to see my tattoos and that, but I don't do it anymore, though. And he admitted it was a self-hate thing. Now, think about how much people were influenced by that. Think about how much people got influenced by that to bleach their skin or to think something was wrong with being melanated, heavily melanated. Think about you've done the damage, bro. You can't come back now. I know people, you got to give people room to grow. That's a fact. But you've done the damage, man. You've already put that message out and done the damage because a generation followed you with that. Because I remember when I was in yard and mans were wearing umbrellas and all that.
Yeah, man.
And I'm like, what you doing, man? It's fine. Your color's not going nowhere. Mans were trying to hide from getting darker. This is a man who's born and raised in the UK, who's gone back and seen brothers doing that. And he normalized them things. So those things were normalized. I'm going to keep it real. When I was younger, D-Block and all them mans, I used to listen to them. But the next generation now of basically, it's like that generation got them ready for actually doing the things. Like back then it was a thing like, yeah, before I got on, this is how I used to live. Now it's like, this is how I live now. It's normalized. So it's like, even when you go, it's almost like, I swear down, Noble, it's like some Black Mirror thing. Real talk. I don't even want to sound like no madman, but it's really like some Black Mirror thing. Let me break it down. So remember when I was at your yard and I showed you that joke at OTV?
Yeah.
That song, since that song has become like heavily streamed. It's on Spotify, the video still, even with knowing what the truth is behind the video, to where people are playlisting it. This is, to me, I'm watching this video, and when you know what the mans are saying and you know that it's true, it becomes it's worse than any kind of conjuring you could watch. It's worse than any kind of paranormal activity because you're like, ultimately you feel sad because you're like, what happened?
Yeah.
These are some young men. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? Some young men, like, what's happened? Why did they decide this path? But the music is consistently shared, and that is a song that unfortunately is popular right now in that world. And if you're a youth who's a misguided youth,
yeah,
what is there to deter you from being influenced by that?